Tanya from SemGrep Community, and I'm here at BSides Vancouver Island, and I'm here with my friend Liam Mcgovern. Can you introduce yourself a bit?
I absolutely can. My name is Liam Mcgovern, and I work for a company called Cribble. I'm a product security engineer, and I've been very lucky to know Tanya for quite some time now.
Yes, we got to work together, and then also I convinced him to move across the country to Vancouver Island, because Vancouver Island's amazing, isn't it?
I'm very lucky to live here.
It's incredible. But the reason why I wanted to interview him is because he also thinks security champion programs are awesome. Can you tell them what that even is?
A security champions program?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like security champions programs have a different definition depending on the organization that you work with. Where I'm working now, security champions is really just a group of folks who get together and we aim to discuss topics related to product security, application security, whatever you want to call it. At Cribble, when I first joined, they recognized that security was something that a lot of people were interested in, but they didn't really have a space to talk about it. So it was pretty easy to convince leadership that we need to employ a security champions program. In the early days, it was really just a bunch of my friends kind of getting together, and I think that's how a lot of these programs start. And then over time, it organically grew, and we would cover a variety of different topics. In the early days, I really wanted people to be engaged and interested in the Security Champions program, so I would find a vulnerability, hopefully in our product, that we had resolved and kind of go into detail about how we identified it, how we remediated it, and how we're going to prevent it from happening in the future. And my intent there was really so that we would have content that folks would be kind of naturally pulled into, and they would find it naturally interesting. But over time, I kind of sneakily manipulated them into learning about threat modeling and a variety of different topics that may, if you don't know otherwise, may seem a little bit boring. But yeah, is there specific areas of security champions that you want me to dive into a bit further?
I want to talk about the benefits because sometimes I'm trying to convince companies that you can do that, and there's, in my opinion, many benefits. What are some of the ones that you think are important?
So I could talk about metrics, and maybe I will, but I think the most important thing would be I feel as though through this program we've had the opportunity to make security cool. And that's kind of intangible and hard to measure. And it's the moments that I get from working with people who have been security champions or who have met me otherwise, where they say stuff along the lines of, like, I'm used to working with a department of no. I'm used to being told I can't do things, whereas you guys are patient, and I kind of understand where you're coming from. And I feel like that's come from being in front of people and having these sessions where we're teaching them in a not super formal fashion, not in a fashion that's kind of like, hey, you need to do this. Like, I'm going to be angry. Here's the stick, so to speak. It's being able to get to develop an atmosphere where people feel as though like security is something that it's not scary, it's not spooky, it's an open discussion. You can come and chat with us about it. So I feel like that's like the biggest benefit. Secondarily, we do try to make sure for folks who are in the program formally, we do try to make sure that if they identify a security issue, we've got metrics on that so that we could say, okay, look, now these people who weren't previously in the program who had not found any vulnerabilities, they have found vulnerabilities, and we can correlate that with their presence in the Security Champions program. It is probably difficult, and I'd love to pick your mind maybe a bit at some point, but I do feel like it's a bit challenging to be able to identify metrics that are associated with Security Champions. Yeah, we can say like participation in events and try to say, okay, that's the hockey stick, it's going up and to the right a little bit. But it can be difficult sometimes to communicate the value of it. But frankly, honestly, the most important thing is really just being able to work with people and see that they're a bit more disarmed and a bit more open to discussing security things, and they're interested. Like that's the most important thing. When it's successful, it's not always that way, but when it's successful.
So if I was going to summarize, it
Please
reduces friction, it improves the security culture, and it builds trust.
Seems accurate.
Nice. One of the things I've seen with Security Champions programs is it can reduce absenteeism and increase morale for the people that are security champions. Have you seen anything like that?
Honestly, I don't think I can speak to that. I don't think, because I'm not in an office, I don't know exactly when someone's out of office. Hopefully it's improved morale. I can't say that when we started the program, morale was horrible and that like morale is amazing now. It's been pretty good consistently. So I can't speak to that. I don't have evidence that it's gotten any worse. But yeah, I'm sure that's the case. I mean, like you point out, I think just being able to see people excited about security, if that's not increasing morale, then I don't know what it is.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so another thing, so I see the value from an organizational perspective for having a security champions program. For you as a product security person, how does it affect your job to have champions that you can count on?
Oh my God. Like you said, champions you can count on, people that you can reach out to when you have a concern, where you want to just like make sure that before you go and publish this ticket that may have some sort of ramifications, whether it's like a P0, a blocker, it's going to mess with the build, it's going to mess with the release day, someone that you can reach out to and confide in and kind of say, okay, am I crazy? Do I actually understand the risk that's associated with this? Do you see there being this much risk? And then by kind of working with those people, you have some people who will back you up and advocate on your behalf when you want to go and say, like, actually, this is a really big deal. And it's not that like we're anticipating an adversarial experience. It's more so just that you have some people who deeply understand the product, who are the subject matter experts, and you can kind of work with them to make sure that you're communicating clearly in a way that the audience is going to understand. Here's the impact of this vulnerability or whatever it happens to be that you want to move forward.
Okay, so that's awesome. So imagine my audience is like, this sounds great. I want to do a program. Where do I start?
I think the right answer is to make sure you have like your management buy-in, like whatever the leadership is in the company, the people who you're going to be asking for their employees' time or their time. Make sure that they're on board, because if they're not on board, you can end up with some tight situations. I think that's the first step, is just sell them the idea. Hopefully through these, through watching this and other interviews like this and other sessions like this, you'll be bought into the idea. Hopefully you get to the point where you're pretty motivated and excited about it. Share that with them. They're willing to understand how you're going to save them money, save them time, improve morale, reduce costs, all that good stuff. So I think it's really important that you get that leadership buy-in. And then from there, try to find a plan. Try to have a vision that you can sell people. You can approach them and say, hey, like this is what it's going to look like. This is what I'll be asking for from the people who participate. This is what you should expect. And then, just follow the plan. I think you have a really good article about putting that plan into place. So go read the article. Go do that. Really just making sure that you've convinced the right people. And then it's really a matter of like, that's kind of the easy part. The next part will be like coming up with the sessions, making sure that you're continually engaging, having a cadence that works for you and the organization. You're not going such a long distance in between sessions that people have kind of forgotten about it or said, oh, you know what, I don't care as much about this. Trying to time things so that it's not, like, at least for us, correlating with a release or something like that, some deadlines that a bunch of people have. Try to make sure you can get as much attendance as possible. And yeah, like the follow-through, execution is, as with anything, very important.
Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. I'm going to link to the series that he talked about in the comments below, so you can go see that in the description for this video. Liam, you rock. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Awesome. Watch the rest of the SumGrep community videos.